Choice is the most powerful tool we have as human beings. It's a tool that, when wielded correctly, can shape our destiny. However, too often we are unaware of the profound impact our choices have on the direction our lives take. We act impulsively, we follow our emotions, and we allow external circumstances to dictate the way we think and behave. But here's the reality. We are the creators of our own experience. The decisions we make today, the way we think, and the actions we take, or fail to take, shape the future we will live. Understanding the power of choice isn't just about making decisions. It's about recognizing that the decisions we make begin in our minds. Every day we are presented with a multitude of choices. Some of these choices are large, like the career path we pursue or the relationships we build, while others seem small, like what we eat for breakfast or how we respond to a stressful situation. But regardless of the size, every choice we make carries weight. Each decision, no matter how minor it seems at the time, sends us down a certain path. And with each path we take, we are moving further away from some possibilities while drawing closer to others. Our lives, in fact, are the sum of all the choices we make. Think about that for a moment. The life you are currently living, whether it's one of joy, fulfillment, peace, or struggle, is the result of the choices you've made up to this point. This is a powerful realization, but it's also one that comes with immense responsibility. If we are the sum of our choices, then it follows that we have the power to change our lives simply by making different choices. At the heart of this idea is the concept of personal responsibility. When we begin to take responsibility for the choices we make, we begin to take control over the direction our lives are headed. Instead of blaming external circumstances, other people, or even fate, we recognize that it is our responsibility to choose how we react and how we live. This mindset is a game changer because it shifts us from being passive recipients of life's events to active participants in creating the life we want. What's important to understand is that the choices we make are not always easy. In fact, many of the most important choices are the hardest. The decision to take action, to push through fear, to step out of your comfort zone. These are not decisions made lightly. They require strength, courage, and sometimes even a complete shift in how we see the world. The easy path is often the one that leads us to mediocrity, to a life that is dictated by outside forces, to a life where we are not in charge of our own destiny. But the path of empowerment, the path where we take control of our thoughts, our actions, and our life, is always there, waiting for us to step into it. The freedom to choose is not just about deciding between different options. It's about understanding that within every choice there is a powerful force for change. And that change doesn't just happen externally, it happens internally as well. The act of making a conscious choice rewires our brain. It challenges our old patterns of thinking and forces us to confront our limiting beliefs. It pushes us to think differently, to act differently, and ultimately to be different. Each choice, no matter how small, has the potential to expand our horizons, increase our confidence, and deepen our sense of purpose. One of the most important areas where we exercise choice is in how we think. Our thoughts are not automatic. They are influenced by the choices we make. We have the power to choose what to focus on, what to believe, and how to react to the events in our lives. This power to choose our thoughts is liberating because it gives us the ability to control our emotional state and our response to the world around us. For example, when faced with adversity, we can choose to see the challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow, or we can choose to see it as an obstacle that will defeat us. The choice is ours. Similarly, our emotional responses are not set in stone. Emotions arise naturally, but we have the ability to decide how much power we will allow them to have over us. Will we let frustration and anger control our actions? Or will we choose to remain calm, centered, and composed, even in difficult situations? The freedom to choose our emotional responses doesn't mean suppressing our feelings. It means recognizing that we are in control of how we react to our feelings, and this is incredibly empowering. The power of choice extends far beyond our thoughts and emotions. It influences our actions as well. Every action we take is preceded by a choice. The decision to get up early and start the day with purpose, the choice to exercise when we don't feel like it, the decision to speak up for ourselves, the choice to invest in personal growth. All of these choices accumulate over time to create the life we experience. The key is that each of these decisions requires a level of commitment and intentionality. Success doesn't come from random, passive decisions. It comes from a series of purposeful choices made consistently over time. In many ways, the quality of our lives is determined by the quality of our choices. High-quality choices come from a mindset of empowerment and possibility. They come from a place of self-awareness, where we recognize the impact of our actions and thoughts on our future. Low-quality choices, on the other hand, come from a place of complacency, fear, or a lack of awareness. We may make these choices automatically, without thinking about the consequences. Or we may avoid making decisions altogether out of fear of making the wrong one. To harness the full power of choice, we must become intentional in our decision-making. This means pausing before reacting, reflecting on the potential outcomes, and choosing actions that align with our values, goals, and vision for the future. It requires discipline and the willingness to resist the pull of short-term gratification in favor of long-term success. The power to choose means having the courage to make decisions that may not be easy, but that will lead us to greater fulfillment and success in the end. Choices, when made consciously, allow us to be the masters of our own destiny. Emotions are a natural part of being human. They are what make us feel alive, connected to others, and engaged with the world around us. They can be intense, fleeting, or even overwhelming. But while emotions are universal, it's critical to understand that they don't have to control us. In fact, mastering your emotions is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in life. When you learn to control your emotional state, rather than being at the mercy of it, you unlock the potential to transform your experience of life. The first step in mastering your emotions is recognizing that emotions are not facts. They are simply signals. Just like physical pain tells you that something may be wrong with your body, emotions alert you to something happening within your mind or in your environment. Emotions can be triggered by thoughts, events, people, or even the environment around you. But emotions themselves don't determine your destiny. It's how you respond to them that shapes the course of your life. Take anger, for example. Anger can feel powerful, almost as if it's driving you to act. But anger, in and of itself, is not inherently harmful. It is simply an emotion that arises when we feel threatened, disrespected, or wronged. The danger comes not from the anger itself, but from how we choose to channel that emotion. If we let anger dictate our actions, we might lash out in ways we later regret. But if we take control, we can use the energy of anger to fuel positive change. We can channel it into a productive conversation, a solution to a problem, or simply use it to fuel the discipline needed to overcome challenges. Anger, like any emotion, is a tool. And just like any tool, it's about how you wield it. Understanding that emotions are temporary is another crucial element of emotional mastery. It's easy to believe that when we are experiencing intense emotions, they are permanent. That will feel the same way forever. But the reality is, emotions are fluid. They come and go, and usually much quicker than we anticipate. When we accept that emotions are temporary, we can free ourselves from the fear that they will overtake us. This realization allows us to ride the waves of emotions without being dragged under by them. Take a moment to think about how often you've felt overwhelmed or consumed by an emotion, whether it was frustration, sadness, or excitement. In the heat of the moment, it feels like that emotion is the only thing that matters, and it's easy to get lost in it. But if you pause and reflect, you'll often notice that after a short period, the intensity of that emotion fades, and you are left with a clearer perspective. Emotions don't have to control you, because they are not permanent. Learning to let them pass without reacting impulsively is a key element in emotional control. To truly master your emotions, you must also become aware of your emotional triggers. Each person has different sensitivities, things that trigger emotional reactions that might not affect others in the same way. These triggers can come from past experiences, learned behaviors, or even fears we may not be consciously aware of. Understanding your triggers is one of the most empowering aspects of emotional mastery. When you recognize what sets you off, you gain the ability to make better choices in how to react. This awareness gives you the opportunity to pause before acting and decide whether your response is going to be helpful or harmful. For instance, if you know that situations tend to make you feel defensive or anxious, you can create a plan for how to handle them in the future. You can practice deep breathing, ground yourself in the present moment, or choose to take a step back and give yourself space to think. Rather than being controlled by your emotions in those moments, you are in control of how you respond. Another vital component of emotional mastery is developing the ability to respond instead of reacting. This is a subtle but powerful shift in how we interact with the world. Reactions are instinctive and often impulsive. They are driven by the unconscious mind, fueled by emotion, and tend to be short-sighted. When we react, we're often operating on autopilot, responding to a situation based on our past experiences, fears, or conditioning. Responses, on the other hand, are intentional. They come from a place of reflection, choice, and self-awareness. The difference between a reaction and a response is the pause in between. When we act immediately without thinking. When we respond, we take a moment to assess the situation, understand our emotions, and decide the best course of action. This pause is crucial. It's in that space between stimulus and response that our power lies. It's in this moment that we can choose to respond thoughtfully, with clarity and purpose, rather than simply reacting based on emotion. One of the most effective ways to master your emotions is by practicing emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence involves being aware of your own emotions, understanding how they affect your thoughts and behaviors, and using that awareness to guide your actions. It also involves recognizing emotions in others and understanding how those emotions influence their actions. Developing emotional intelligence allows you to better manage yourself in any given situation and navigate your relationships with greater ease. People who are emotionally intelligent are able to stay calm under pressure, communicate effectively, and resolve conflicts peacefully. They are not ruled by their emotions, but have learned to harness them to create positive outcomes. Another powerful strategy for emotional mastery is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of staying present in the moment, fully aware of your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without judgment. When you practice mindfulness, you create a space between your emotional experience and your reaction. This awareness allows you to observe your emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Mindfulness enables you to sit with uncomfortable emotions and allow them to pass without giving them power over you. It's a practice that strengthens your ability to remain calm, centered, and focused, regardless of the emotions you may be experiencing. Lastly, one of the most empowering truths about emotions is that you can choose your emotional state. While you cannot control every emotion that arises, you do have the ability to influence your emotional state by changing your focus. Your emotions are often a reflection of where you are placing your attention. If you focus on what's wrong, on past mistakes, or on things beyond your control, you are more likely to experience negative emotions. But when you choose to focus on what's right, what you are grateful for, and the opportunities in front of you, you can shift your emotional state. This shift requires practice, but with time, you can train yourself to direct your emotions and use them to fuel positive change in your life. Mastering your emotions is not about suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. It's about learning to coexist with your emotions while maintaining control over how they affect your behavior. When you can do this, you gain the power to shape your experiences and create a life that is not governed by emotional impulses, but guided by clarity, intention, and purpose. In life, there is an overwhelming amount of things that are completely outside our control. We cannot control the weather, the economy, other people's actions or decisions, or the many unforeseen circumstances that arise unexpectedly. And yet many of us spend a disproportionate amount of time and energy worrying about these uncontrollable factors, allowing them to dictate our thoughts, emotions, and actions. But what if we stopped focusing on what we can't control and instead focused on what we can control? What would change if we became intentional about our choices and actions in the areas where we do hold power? The first step in learning to focus on what you can control is recognizing that the majority of what happens in your life comes down to how you respond. While you can't control external events, you always have the power to control your reaction. Think about that for a moment. No matter what happens to you, No matter what challenges you face, your response is entirely within your hands. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you can control your reaction, whether you let it ruin your day or whether you choose to brush it off and continue on your path. If a colleague criticizes your work, you can control your response, whether you take it as constructive feedback or let it eat away at your confidence. Your emotional state, your peace of mind, and your overall happiness are directly influenced by how you react to life's ups and downs. When we give away control of our reactions, we allow external circumstances to dominate our internal world. But when we learn to manage our response, we regain control of our emotional and mental states. This is where true power lies, in the way we choose to respond. It's one of the most crucial aspects of mastering our own lives. We cannot change the past. No amount of worry, regret, or longing can undo the decisions we made, the actions we took, or the things we experienced. But what we can do is focus on the present moment and make the most of the opportunities that lie ahead. It's easy to get bogged down by what went wrong or by mistakes we've made. But focusing on the past only wastes the present. The only thing you have true control over is how you approach today. The thoughts you choose to entertain, the actions you decide to take, and the mindset you adopt. All of these are within your control. Take control of your thoughts. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. When you let negative, unproductive thoughts take hold, they begin to control you. You begin to feel helpless, overwhelmed, and discouraged. But when you choose to focus on positive thoughts, on solutions, on what's going well, you shift your entire perspective. It's not about ignoring the challenges or pretending that life is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on what you can do right now to move forward. Instead of worrying about what might go wrong, you can train your mind to focus on what might go right. This shift in focus is life-changing. It opens doors that previously felt closed and creates opportunities where you thought there were none. Additionally, you have control over your actions. Every day you make decisions about what to do and what not to do. Even in situations where external circumstances seem to be out of your hands, you still have the ability to choose how you act. If you're faced with an obstacle, you have the power to decide whether you will face it head-on, find a solution, or allow it to paralyze you. If you're not where you want to be in life, you have the ability to take steps toward your goals, one small action at a time. You can choose to improve your skills, learn new things, and put in the work to create the life you envision. One of the most powerful ways to regain control over your life is to develop the habit of self-discipline. Discipline is a key factor in focusing on what you can control, because it gives you the strength to take consistent action, even when the outcome is uncertain. Discipline means making choices that align with your long-term goals, rather than giving in to the fleeting desires or distractions of the moment. Whether it's sticking to a workout routine, following through on a project, or choosing to stay focused on a task, discipline allows you to stay on track even when external factors are not in your favor. It's in the moments where you choose consistency over comfort that you begin to take full control of your life. We also have control over our attitude. Life can be challenging, unfair, and difficult at times. But your attitude toward these challenges is a choice. You can choose to approach difficult situations with a mindset of resilience and optimism, or you can choose to view them as insurmountable obstacles. The attitude you adopt will determine not just how you handle adversity, but also the lessons you learn and the growth you experience. People with a positive, growth-oriented attitude see challenges as opportunities to learn, improve, and become stronger. They don't dwell on what they can't control. Instead, they focus on what they can do to move forward. In addition to your mindset and actions, time management is an area where you can have a significant impact. Time is one of the few resources that, once spent, can never be regained. So why waste it? You can control how you spend your time, how you prioritize your day, and how you structure your life. If you're constantly reacting to life's demands and allowing distractions to take over, you'll find yourself running in circles without getting anywhere. But when you take control of your time, by setting goals, creating a plan, and sticking to it, you begin to make tangible progress toward the life you desire. Time management allows you to focus your energy on what matters most and avoid getting sidetracked by things that are beyond your control. Another important area where you have control is in your relationships. While you cannot control other people's behavior, you can control how you interact with them. You can choose to be kind, respectful, and understanding, or you can choose to be distant, judgmental, or resentful. The way you treat others will affect the quality of your relationships and ultimately the support and connections you build. Positive relationships are the foundation of a fulfilling life. And by focusing on how you show up in your relationships, you can create a network of support that helps you achieve your goals. Finally, self-care is another area in which you have full control. How you take care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being directly impacts the quality of your life. You have control over the food you eat, the exercise you do, the rest you get, and the activities that recharge you. By prioritizing self-care, you are ensuring that you have the energy, clarity, and focus to tackle whatever life throws your way. When you focus on taking care of yourself, you put yourself in a position of strength to handle the things you cannot control. Focusing on what you can control doesn't mean ignoring the challenges that exist in life. It means shifting your energy away from the things that drain you and instead putting your effort into areas where you can make a real impact. The more you focus on what's within your control, the more you empower yourself to create the life you desire. Discipline is one of the most crucial traits that separates those who succeed from those who falter. It's not just about following rules or adhering to rigid routines. It's about creating an internal structure that allows you to consistently move forward, no matter the challenges, distractions, or obstacles you may face. Discipline is the backbone of achievement, the force that propels you from where you are to where you want to be. Whether you are striving for personal growth, professional success, or simply living a more fulfilled life, the power of discipline cannot be overstated. At its core, discipline is about making choices. Conscious, deliberate choices that align with your long-term goals, rather than giving in to the temptations of immediate gratification or comfort. We live in a world full of distractions, quick fixes, and easy ways out. It's easy to lose sight of what really matters, to be swept up in the noise of the moment. But discipline allows you to rise above these distractions. It gives you the ability to stay focused on the long-term vision rather than getting sidetracked by short-term pleasures or setbacks. Discipline enables you to take action even when the results aren't immediate, and it is this ability to persist through the grind that ultimately leads to success. One of the key aspects of discipline is self-retreat. Self-retreat is the ability to resist immediate temptations in favor of achieving a greater long-term goal. Whether it's resisting the urge to procrastinate, putting in the extra hours at work, or sticking to a healthy diet plan, discipline allows you to say no to the things that don't align with your values and priorities. Self-retreat's often tested when you feel tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain. It's in those moments, when the easy way out seems so tempting, that discipline shines through. Discipline is the ability to make the right decision even when it feels uncomfortable, knowing that every right decision compounds to lead to greater rewards down the road. The power of consistency is one of the greatest strengths that discipline provides. Success doesn't come from one heroic effort or a single breakthrough. It comes from the consistent day in and day out actions that move you forward. It's the small decisions made daily that, over time, lead to massive transformation. A person who works out for just 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week, may not see immediate changes, but the power of that daily consistency builds momentum. It's the same with any area of life. Whether it's building a business, mastering a new skill, or improving your health. Discipline ensures that you take consistent action, even when it feels tedious or when results seem far away. Moreover, discipline involves creating habits that support your goals. Habits are the invisible forces that either propel you towards success or pull you away from it. The beauty of discipline is that it turns productive actions into habits, and habits, once ingrained, become second nature. Imagine a writer who sits down to write every day, no matter how inspired or unmotivated they feel. At first, it might take effort to establish the routine, but over time, the habit becomes automatic. The power of discipline lies in creating positive habits that, over time, yield extraordinary results. Once a habit is formed, you don't have to rely on motivation or willpower. It simply becomes a part of your daily life, and you do it without thinking. Another significant aspect of discipline is delayed gratification. The ability to delay gratification is the cornerstone of long-term success. In today's world, everything seems to be available at the push of a button. Whether it's instant access to entertainment, food delivery, or social media, the temptation for instant rewards is ever present. But true success requires a mindset shift, a shift that allows you to forego short-term satisfaction in favor of achieving long-term success. This might mean putting in the extra hours at work to build your career, studying late into the night to ace a test, or investing in your personal development even when it feels uncomfortable. The power of discipline is found in choosing to do the hard things now in order to enjoy the fruits of your labor later. Discipline also empowers you to develop mental toughness. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and failures. But discipline is the force that keeps you moving forward despite these obstacles. It's what allows you to get back up after a failure, to continue pursuing your goals even when you feel defeated. Discipline strengthens your ability to persevere and stay the course, no matter how difficult the journey. It's the mental fortitude to keep pushing forward when you don't feel like it, when the odds are stacked against you, and when you encounter obstacles that threaten to derail your progress. Mental toughness is built through discipline, through repeatedly choosing to stay focused, stay committed, and stay resilient in the face of adversity. Discipline also fosters accountability. When you hold yourself accountable for your actions, you take ownership of your results. There's no one else to blame for your failures, and there's no one else to thank for your successes. You recognize that your choices, day in and day out, are the determining factor in whether you succeed or not. Discipline doesn't allow for excuses. It's a mindset of responsibility where you acknowledge that you are in control of your actions, your progress, and your future. With discipline, you understand that your decisions today impact your tomorrow. And this level of awareness helps you stay committed to your goals. The power of discipline can also extend to how you manage your time. Time is one of our most valuable resources, yet it is often squandered through poor decisions and lack of focus. Discipline allows you to manage your time effectively by setting clear priorities and staying focused on the most important tasks. It teaches you to say no to distractions and to allocate your time toward the activities that will bring you closer to your goals. Time management, when driven by discipline, becomes an intentional process of directing your focus toward what matters most and ensuring that every hour you invest serves your purpose. The process of building discipline is often uncomfortable and requires overcoming initial resistance. It's easy to make excuses, to procrastinate, or to fall into old habits that provide immediate comfort. But every time you push through that resistance and commit to doing what needs to be done, you strengthen your discipline muscle. It becomes easier over time to act in alignment with your goals and values, and the discomfort of discipline gradually diminishes. The power of discipline comes not from immediate rewards, but from the long-term transformation it creates. Over time, the disciplined actions you take will compound and propel you towards success. Finally, discipline is closely tied to self-respect. When you choose to do what you know is right, even when it's difficult, you build self-respect and confidence. Each time you follow through on your commitments and stay true to your word, you reinforce your belief in yourself. Discipline is a sign of respect for yourself, your goals, and the future you are creating. When you live a disciplined life, you can look yourself in the mirror and know that you are doing everything in your power to create the life you desire. Discipline is more than just a tool. It's a mindset, a habit, and a way of life. It is the foundation upon which success is built. It may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. The power of discipline lies in its ability to transform your actions, your mindset, and ultimately, your life.